What's up guys, and welcome to the finale of my F1 2017 career mode for season 5 here at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, round number 19 of the season. And first things first, before we do jump into it guys, I'm going to use this episode and the next one to sort of give you guys a heads up. So from now on, you would have noticed a lack of uploads or consistency in the uploads, and basically this goes back to my upload video from last month, and I'm going to reiterate this now. Going into the next season for season 6, I'm probably just going to stick to just one upload every other day. So it'll be one day yes, one day no, one day yes, one day no on the career mode. So there should be about 4 a week, hopefully, or 3 a week if I'm not mistaken. So give or take, that's how many episodes you'd expect for season 6 in career mode. And then hopefully by then, by the time season 6 is finished, I would have finished my course, and then we can jump into season 7 and get back on the daily upload hype. But just so you guys know in advance, while some of these days there might not be uploads on every other day, but meanwhile, in the background, you would have seen that we did Friday practice at Abu Dhabi, and our first practice session as a number 1 driver. We got promoted in the last race, and we had a pretty damn good session, getting purple and everything. And as you can see, now after that, we got a new rival in the form of Kimi Raikkonen going into the end of this season and the start of the next one. And also, in terms of obviously going into the race, I'm not going to qualify. We're going to do a last to first in cockpit view on 110% AI, and we're going to do it basically the whole, the full shebang, basically the full simulation aspect of it with cockpit view and 100% race. So as you can see, I'm just putting on a brand new engine and a brand new gearbox, as I'm going to be starting from the back, so we'll have full power at our disposal. But I'm going to run you guys through the grid a little bit, and also you can see what the positions look like going to this last race. Obviously, both of the Ferraris are going at it for the championship. Whoever wins out of the 2 Ferrari drivers will win the Drivers' Championship, and Vettel starts on pole compared to Raikkonen on 3rd. So those two will be duking it out for the World Drivers' Championship here this evening. But I'm not going to focus too much on their battle. Whatever happens. I'll sort of be keeping a keen eye, but I'm going to be keeping an eye on my race, and hopefully it can go pretty good. I'm pretty excited. We've got a good strategy underneath us. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the race for the final race of the season, of season 5 in the career mode. Right, so here we are then, race day at Abu Dhabi, the final race of the season, a 100% race in cockpit view. That's what I'm going to do here today, and I do have a bit of a custom cockpit view with a little bit of look into Apex, just sort of my preference and what I like to use, and hopefully you guys do appreciate it. I will be using my mirrors as well, so I'll be looking to the left and looking to the right, so like this, as you can see on screen right now, we'll be using this a lot. So realistically, I think for this, I probably recommend you maybe watch this in full screen if you can, and that will give you a better idea of how things look on my end when I'm recording this video. But hopefully it's a good race. There's no real objective here, just to have a good race, and I'd love to finish in the top 5. I mean, that would be absolutely phenomenal if we could pull that one off. But obviously, in order to do that, we are going to need a good race strategy. Now, speaking of that, as you can see on screen right now, we do have 2 super soft stints and a ultra. I've sort of made the strategy myself, and that's what we're going to run here today. So we're going to try and run those super softs into the ground a little bit, and then obviously stick on the ultras at the end to try and be nice and quick in the final stint. But we'll have to wait and see what the tyre wear's like. It could be better than what I expect, so you never know. We could change the strategy on the fly. But as you can see, there was a 4-stop recommended for me before, and also there was a 3-stop as well. I've decided to go for the 2 just because I want to try and save pit stop time. So hopefully it'll work out for us. It's going to be a very long race. We are full to the brim with petrol in this car, so we're only over by 0.2, but obviously this track doesn't seem to have a lot of fuel consumption. But either way, we are maxed out for fuel, so hopefully we can have a good race here today. Start from the back of the grid on the super soft compound tyres in cockpit view from day to night, the final race of the season. Let's go into it. Right, here we go. We're going to get ready for the last race of the season. And we're away, and it's 5 red lights, and they are out in the desert, and it's a pretty good start off for the line, getting past Marcus Ericsson, and also getting a run on Stoffel Van Dorn here into turn 1 up the inside. Going to try and spot a little pocket of space. I'm not going to force any moves though, because the front wing is very, very important to me in this initial stint of the race, and we've got to try and keep it at all costs. So I'm not going to go for any rash moves. I'm just going to sort of pick my spaces and pick my spots sort of tactically and make the moves as we got the inside of a couple of cars, getting very close to Julian Palmer there on his rear diffuser. But we are going to make the move up the inside of Kevin Magnussen here at the hairpin, but he's going to hold it around the outside, extra bit of grip on those ultra softs, and look at the traction he's got there in the Haas. But we're just going to out drag him because of the straight line speed of this Williams car. And here we go, powering past, and we're just going to try and get in front of him there and try and pick up some slipstream from Julian Palmer. But so far it's a good start to the race, and we've made up a few places here. Like I said, we're not rushing into moves. It's not important that we rush into things because it's a very long race. As I lose the back end a bit there, Magnussen might be on me. He's very close. He's going to pick up a toe. He might go for a move here. He's not really committing to anything just yet. I think I'm just pulling away slightly. So we're going to stay in front of K-Mag for now. But like I said, this is going to be a long race. No need to rush into any moves. And we can make it all happen on the strategy. It's very important that I keep my tyres alive. And hopefully they don't wear too badly. And we can have a nice race here today. But so far, opening lap P16. Let's see how this lap goes. Also, I'm getting used to 100% fuel in the car, which is definitely a lot slower and far more heavy than what I'm used to in a 50% race. So it's all about settling into this at the minute and trying to get a feel for things, and also still getting acclimatised, the cockpit view obviously, and all the track surroundings. So hopefully we can try and have a good race, but like I said, it's going to be a very long one, so let's try and settle into this. Right, out of the hairpin, I've had a really nice bit of traction now. I took in a wide entry and then a nice short narrow exit with some good traction, good power application of the throttle, and we're right in the switch of Palmer sparking up. We're going to pull to the inside though of the Brit and make the move on the brakes, but Palmer's going up the inside of Kvyat as well. It's going to get very close on the apex, very tight, not a lot of room there, and Palmer's just going to stay in front. Good defensive driver in there from the Brit. I was going to go for the move, but the fact he broke so late and sort of caught Kvyat out caught me out of guard. But we're going to go to the inside of Palmer here, very close to the wall, as close as you like. Palmer really give me a good squeeze here, but I'm going to commit to the move. A little bit of argy-bargy going on. I'm going to have to hold it on the inside here. Palmer still holding on. I'm just going to pull in front and try and make the move here, but Palmer still holding it on the outside, but we just get past, and we're now up at the P15. Fantastic manoeuvre there, and shades of Charles Leclerc, sorry, in GP2 in the finale race this season when he took the lead in the final lap. So really good move there, but we're now up at the 15th. Let's try and keep going on here. Okay, I'm very close to Danny Kvyat here, so we're going to run in a bit deep on the brakes in the hairpin to try and swing back underneath and get some good traction and try and have a run on the Russian. He will have DRS though off Fernando Alonso, I think, but that's not my concern because I've got too much straight line speed to actually worry too much. We're going to actually opt for the outside and take the normal racing line under braking here into the brake zone, to the chicane. A little bit hot on the brakes thanks to the overspeed on DRS. Kvyat is looking around my outside, but I'm just going to get my nose in front, and there we go, we're up into P14. So slowly making the moves here. It's taking me a little bit longer than I would like, but to be honest with you, everyone's got DRS, and I'm sort of still settling into this race a little bit, but I'm definitely starting to find some pace. I'm faster than the next three guys in front. It's just I need to try and get past them and try and get some good exits. Obviously, I can notice a tyre difference a lot more in a 100% race than a 50. So the fact that I don't have as much grip as the Ultra Softs is very noticeable because the tyre wear obviously is scaled to 100%, so the Ultras last a bit longer. So I'm trying my best with what I got, but I definitely think we can score some very good points this race early on based off of our pace. I feel pretty confident. Okay, I got close through that first straight. Now I've got DRS again on Fernando. He has got DRS from Sainz, but this time I'm pretty close to him. I wasn't close enough for a move the first time. Alonso goes defensive, sort of weaving around in the brake zone a little bit there. A little bit of debatable driving there from the Spaniard, and we're going to have to stay behind for a little bit longer there. I was going to commit to a move, but Alonso just sort of weaved his car a bit, and that sort of put me off a bit there. But we've definitely got the pace. We need to start passing these guys now because we're losing contact with the front pack. Okay, I've had a great exit out of the hairpin, and this time we're very close to Fernando here, and this should be a pretty comfortable move. Using the slipstream, I'm going to dummy to the inside, feint to the outside, use Sainz as slipstream as well to try and get past him. And there we go, we've comfortably made the move on Fernando. Now the question is, can we get close enough to Carlos to maybe make a move on him on this back strat? I don't think he's got DRS from the car in front, so we might have a good opportunity here to get past the Spaniard. I know he doesn't, so here we go. We're going to try and get in the slipstream with Sainz. The speed difference is going to be absolutely monumental. We're going to pull to the inside on Carlos. I'm going to look for it on the brakes, late lunge, but Carlos just stays in front, and too much grip on those Ultras to really scare him off from making the move there. But a nice move on Fernando, but we've got to get past Sainz though quickly, and I think Palmer's next, or Hulkenberg, I think it might be up the road. Once again into the hairpin, wide line in, narrow line, short line out with good traction, and Sainz is absolutely defenceless here, no DRS whatsoever, so this should be a fairly straightforward overtake on the Spaniard. And now we will have a bit of clean air to try and push as we make the move past him, fly past him, and up next is Romain Grosjean. So let's try and hunt down the Frenchman. We are going to have some clean air now, so I've got to try and put it to good use and try and make some big moves now. I need some big laps coming up to really get through now into the points and try and cut through these next two cars. Right, yellow flag just behind us, and also now we are within Grosjean's DRS. So here we go, we're going to pick up a nice slipstream. Hopefully we can make the move. Pascal Wehrlein out of the race. Grosjean goes defensive, and the virtual safety car just stops you from making the move there. Very disappointing, but I was just about to unleash the pop down the inside of Grosjean, but we have to hold back, which is disappointing, but we should make the move fairly soon. And I've got some good pace. Car stuff was very good. Tyres are holding up pretty nicely. The rears are going slightly, but we're on target for strategy. About another 10 laps on these tyres, I reckon. Okay, here we go into the hairpin, very close to Grosjean this lap, and this time it should be okay to make the move. Hopefully we're going to get right in the slipstream of him and wait for the DRS to become available. Here we go, rear flap now wide open, and hopefully we should get a nice bit of overspeed to try and make the move here. Grosjean's going to go defensive. I'm going to commit to the inside though and comfortably make the move on the brakes. Just got too much overspeed for him, and there we go, up into P11 now, and up next is my teammate Felipe Massa. So he's going to be the man we're going to have to pass to try and get some points, and he is an ultra soft, so it goes to show how the Williams car doesn't really run that well around here, but I'm sort of outperforming it once again as Massa's struggling in P10 on the ultra soft. So let's see if we can try and catch my teammate and pass him. We do have some great pace at the moment, so we've got to try and put it to good use. Okay, we've got cars coming into the pit lane, including my teammate Felipe Massa, so it's time to push a little bit. Now we've got some clean air. Got to try and put it to good use and hopefully set some better lap time. So we're going to go in rich mix for a little bit and really try and find some pace and also use up these tyres a little bit. So up into P8, but now let's try and set a few personal bests. Right, personal best into the 1 minute 41s, 41.9. Not too bad. Raikkonen just set a fast lap at the 1 minute 40.4. So it goes to show where our pace is, but we're holding on for now. Okay, here comes Bottas then. He's going to try and make the move on me, and he will have DRS. My straight line speed is pretty good, so I can just see him approaching there slowly. He's going to maybe commit to the inside. He's going to go for it on the brakes. Yes, he is. Bottas up the inside. I'm going to hang around the outside of the fin. He's going to go around my outside here, leave me very little room on the apex, but Bottas makes the move. But I think I'll have DRS here on the second part of the cherry. Yes, I will, but I'm not going to bother re-overtaking him because I'm just wasting precious time. So we might as well just sit back and try and follow him if we can. But we're not really racing Bottas in terms of race pace, but I think we are racing him in terms of strategy, because I've got a feeling he might be in a bit of a longer strategy than me, and I think I might be one of the few people on a two-stop. I mean, we'll have to wait and see how the tyres hold up, but I think my strategy might be a little bit different to those around me. I think we've got the remaining super soft guys in the pit lane, Nico Hülkenberg and Sergio Perez, and I think that's who they are, and I think they've gone to another set of ultras, and I think that's going to be a theme. We are going to see a lot of aggressive tyre strategies from the front guys. I think they will use the ultras quite a lot, so this is why I think my strategy might bring me into play. Okay, a few more ultra soft runners in the pit lane, going on to new ultras. Ocon and Daniel Ricciardo, also Lewis Hamilton as well, just up the road. So these guys are almost a pit stop ahead of me here, but like I said, it's such a long race with so many pit stops. It doesn't mean the 70 to 50% race. I still think we're in this race here, and my pace is still pretty good on these tyres. So right now, I think it's anyone's game. I think it's quite open. So we just got to keep, focused, keep setting some good lap times, and making sure we keep these tyres as long as we can. Okay, I think we might come under pressure here from Daniel Ricciardo and Esteban Ocon. Ricciardo's struggling in a straight line to really make a move on me here, and I don't think he's actually going to commit to one into the brake zone, so it might be Ocon, if anything, who goes for the move. That Force India, we know how fast it is in a straight line, so Ocon might be the one to watch out for. I'm trying to get some good traction out of the main traction zones, and it's not too bad. And Ricciardo is still there though, and he's looking for a move. I don't think he's going to actually go for the overtake. Ocon instead, like I said, is going for the move on Ricciardo here, so it's just buying me some time to stay in front and not have to defend too hard against these guys. So this is all good for me, and this is definitely helping me out in terms of my strategy this race. Okay, once again, here we go. Ricciardo's getting close, but is he really close enough for a move? No, he's not. He doesn't actually commit to the inside. So we're going to hold on for a little bit longer here, and he's sort of more occupied about, I think it's the Force India. It's not actually Ocon, I think it's Perez who might be behind him, because I think Ocon might be a little bit further back. But here comes Ricciardo again, trying to pick up my slipstream. This time he's a little bit closer, but even still I don't think he's close enough here, and he's looking to my outside. So Ricciardo really not committing to a move. I'm scheduled to pit this lap, but I don't know whether I should come in or not. I really don't know. I'm going to stay out for a few more laps because, to be honest with you, my pace isn't that bad, and my tyres are holding on quite nicely. So what I'm thinking of doing is, instead of going on to super softs in the next stint, I might use ultra softs, and then obviously do my scheduled ultra soft stint at the end anyway. So hopefully that can work out, because that way I'll be a little bit more competitive, I think, in terms of my overall race pace. So I think the plan is to stay out for a little bit longer here and try and make these tyres last. Ricciardo getting close. This time he's definitely going to try and go for the inside here for a move. Is he going to commit for it? No, he doesn't. He still doesn't commit. That Red Bull just not fast enough in a straight line, even with DRS assistance here. And this time I've set myself up beautifully for a nice bit of traction out of there, and I'm definitely much further ahead than what I have been in the past. As I can see in the mirrors there, I'm definitely going to be able to comfortably defend from Ricciardo, so we stay ahead for one more lap here. Okay, Bottas has car trouble, so he might start dropping back, and that'll be another guy who we might be catching up soon, depending on how bad his car issues are. But we're still staying ahead here of Ricciardo. I think I'm going to pit at the end of this lap, if not the next one, and then I can actually make the ultra softs work. But still, I've got to focus on what's behind me here. Ricciardo and Perez are still rushing me, and Ricciardo is actually pretty close this time. This is definitely going to be the one where he goes for the move. I'm going to go defensive a little bit and go to the inside. I've got Perez on my outside approaching me as well, so we've got to leave Ricciardo the room on the inside. I'm going to go right on the outside of the Australian. Have we got the grip here? Yes, we have, and I'm just going to squeeze him out. And there we go, made the move, and we've managed to stay ahead of Ricciardo. Now Perez is going for the move on the Australian. I'm going to try and give Ricciardo a slipstream to try and keep him in front of Perez. And meanwhile, we are going to stay ahead in the process. So that's going to suit me. And there we go, we're still in front of these two. So that is very good for us. Okay, so seeing as Perez has passed Ricciardo, I'm going to use this as an opportunity now to come into the pit lane and serve my first stop of the race and go onto the ultra soft. So strategy has worked out beautifully for us. A little bit conservative there, to be fair, into the pit lane, but better safe than sorry. So here we go, first stop, like I said, onto ultras, and we've got loads of fresh ultras, so we can use as many as we like as we get underway here. 2.5, not the best of stops, but I'm not going to complain. There's Felipe Massa on super softs, and Alonso's just approaching now, so it's going to be, I think, just behind him where we're going to rejoin. So let's see, we've got to tackle this pit exit here in cockpit view, which I don't really do too often, but here we go, getting up to speed now. We are going to rejoin, crucially though, in front of this traffic being led by Kevin Magnussen. So we've already got a pit stop advantage out on Kevin Magnussen, so it just goes to show how much, how fast we was and how good our progress was in that first stint. But now we're on some nice ultras, and we're going to be on these for the rest of the race, about full 17 laps each on both stints, so hopefully we can make that work. So let's try and crack on with this race now. So we just start to darken the skies and move towards night time. It's time to switch this race of light and try and get a good amount of points. Right, into the 1 minute 39s, and that is more sort of like the sort of lap times I'm talking about. Nice and competitive and up there with the big boys. So we're looking good so far. We are catching Alonso. I should be able to pass him this lap. So hopefully it's on the first straight, preferably, as that's where I do prefer having DRS, because the second straight is slightly shorter. So here we go, personal best first sector. Going to run it nice and deep on the brakes into the hairpin, bringing the nose back in, go on the traction nice and early thanks to the car. And I'm even going to dip into the rich mix here to try and have some extra straight line speed. Here we go, open up the rear flap. This is where we're going to notice a speed difference on Fernando Alonso. DRS wide open, Alonso goes defensive. I'm going to commit to the outside, and we're just going to brake nice and late. Alonso's going to try and hold the inside line, so he's going to give me a good old fight, but I'm just going to hold it on the inside. Alonso's still there, but I'm just going to floor it past him, and we're into P11. So now we can go after Felipe Massa, my teammate, and try and re-overtake him. Right, an even better lap of 39.3, just a whisker shy of the fast lap of the Grand Prix. Admittedly, that was entirely in rich mix, which I'm going to remain in for a few more laps here, because I feel like I need the rich mix to really have a good race here. So right now, as you can see, there is Bottas. Now he's going to have to make one more stop this race, and so am I. So we're pretty much on strategy sync, and I'd even say Bottas will go onto a slower tyre at the end of the race. So this is what I'm saying, the strategy-wise on our tyres, by starting on the super softs and making that stint last, we're now right back into play on the strategy. So this is looking very good for us. So hopefully these tyres are still very fresh, so we can just keep up with Bottas here, then we'll be looking very good. Okay, I do have DRS on Valtteri here, so should I go for the move? We'll have to wait and see. Bottas does go defensive, so I'm going to look for the outside line into this brake zone. We're going to try and go for it here. Bottas still there on my inside, side by side with the Mercedes, but we're just going to pull it off and make the move with the purple middle sector in the process. But we are past Valtteri and Bottas. The question is, now we're on the same tyres and I'm in rich mix, can I actually stay in front of him? Because if I can, then that'd be good. Also, Bottas did have problems. I don't know whether he's fixed them yet or not, but he might be nursing some car trouble. So this is going to be a chance for us to try and get in front of him. I've got DRS on my teammate here, and I think I'm a bit too far back to make a move on Felipe on the brakes. I'm going to brake a little bit late, just putting the pressure a little bit, but Felipe not phased by it. But we are going to be very close to the Brazilian here to make a move. So what I've got to do is try and size him up for a move. I think it could be very soon, as early as next lap. So hopefully, once we get past him, we'll be once again in clean air. We've left Bottas behind. I think he's still got car trouble. So it's been pretty comfortable to shake him off. And I'm glad I passed him as easy as I did. So if we can just get past Massa, we'll be in P8, and who knows, once guys pit and all the strategies come full circle, you never know where we could be. So it's very important that we just, you know, use every lap as a qualifying lap realistically and just push to the maximum that the tyres can do. So here we go. We are close to Massa. I'm going to try and pass him hopefully on the first straight. Right into the hairpin. Narrow line this time, going very tight to the apex, and we're very close to Felipe this time, so he does pull away initially. Even though I'm in rich mix, he must be in rich mix himself because he knows I'm going to try and attack him. But here we go, now we've got the DRS open, we are catching him on the overspeed. Felipe goes defensive, but I'm going to commit to the move on the brakes here, up the inside, very nicely done there, and we are past Felipe Massa here. So let's get on with it, let's crack on with it, and now let's go and chase after Nico Hülkenberg, who's the next man on our list of targets we need to try and overtake this race. Okay, so Felipe did just come into the pit lane and I had about 2.5 seconds over him. My next stop will be on lap 38, so I feel confident that I can keep that gap and hopefully he won't be ahead of me by the time I pit. If he is ahead of me, it won't be by much, and we would have closed down the gap a lot in this last stint. So I feel confident that we can just stay ahead of Felipe. So far also Hülkenberg, we are catching him about 6/10 a lap to half a second. So if we just keep this going, eventually we should be able to get pretty close to him. Okay, so a little sit rep. All the big boys have now come in for their, I believe, their final stops. And we've got Ricardo behind us, who I'm comfortably keeping behind because I've still got some pretty good pace on these tyres. We've also got both of the full cinders in between myself and Nico Hülkenberg, and we're all sort of in the same part of the track. So right now, it's all looking pretty good. I'm sort of hoping that some of these guys do come in for one more stop, but realistically, I don't think they are. So I think the best we can do this race is probably finish ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. So that's who we're racing at the moment. Tyres are holding on, so we're going to be pitting in about 3 laps. So we're looking bang on target for tyre wear. So all looking pretty good so far. And like I said, my pace is still pretty good, and I'm comfortably keeping Daniel Ricciardo behind me. So no real major concerns here, and it's all very much under control. Okay, Nico Hülkenberg has finally come into the pit lane, so he's going to switch over, to, I'm guessing, to another set of super softs. So we'll have the tyre advantage over him in the final stint, but we've got to make these last 2 laps in these tyres very, very important, and they have to be very good. Okay, so finally lap 38, I can get off of these tyres and go on to new ones. Ricciardo will be released into clean air, but we're going to come in for our final stop of the race, and hopefully this final stint can be pretty exciting. I'm going to get it slowed down to the limiter, this time a lot more aggressive than last time. But look at this, Max Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas are going to join us in the pit lane. Luckily, because we're further down, we won't get held up, but we're going to be racing both of these guys in the final stint. So this is going to be very, very exciting. I could just see Bottas and also Verstappen as well. They're both on super soft, so I will have the tyre advantage on them. So I need to put the tyres to good use in this early phase of the final stint. But realistically, battling those guys for pace is going to be tasty. Here is Felipe Massa though. He's going to be close with me when we exit the pit lane, but I'm just going to get out in front of him. So like I said, I was confident in those laps that I stayed out that I would stay in front of him, and that's exactly what's happened. So we're on the better tyres now. We're going to be the only man, I think, or one of the only people on ultra softs in this final stint. So we just got to try and put these tyres to good use for the next 17 laps or so, or 16 laps. So let's try and give it some. Let's try and see how much further into the points we can finish this race, and fingers crossed we can try and set one of those things there, a purple lap time. I think we can definitely match that. I think a 38.6 is definitely doable, so let's see what we can do. Right, I'm very close to Romain Grosjean here. I've got loads of grip on these tyres, and it's going to be a pretty simple move, I think, on the Frenchman. I've just got so much more pace than him. I was on for a purple lap, but I'm going to get held up by Grosjean in this final sector here, which isn't ideal. But here we go. We are very, very close, and I might just send it down the inside into this final corner here because of the amount of grip I have. But Grosjean's actually going to come in, so that's going to release me into clean air. So that is absolutely perfect for us. So now let's crank up to rich mix for a couple of laps. I still set a fast lap anyway, so it goes to show how fast we went because we was held up by Grosjean in the entire final sector. But now let's hammer the throttle down. Hülkenberg's up next on super softs, so there's our target. Let's try and get P7. Wow, 1 minute 37.9. Absolutely brilliant pace. Really picking up the pace here at Abu Dhabi. The only man into the 1 minute 37s by a country mile. So we're really turning on here. Oh well, there goes my fastest lap. Sebastian Vettel 37.8 and managing to beat it. So unfortunately, we are going to miss out on the fastest lap trophy. But great pace. I'm really, really impressed. The car's been brilliant around here. I am now out of rich mix, so the gap isn't coming down as fast to Hülkenberg as it once was, but it's currently 5.7. I'm still about half a second a lap faster in standard mix, so we are still catching Nico, and that's another 10th in the first sector, so we are making progress here. Okay, so sit rep onto lap 48. We are catching Hülkenberg, gap at 4.2, and I think if the tyres stay with me, I should be able to catch him. So I'm sort of just praying that the tyres hold on. Also, Bottas is catching me at about a second a lap, so Bottas is on the hunt, so I might get pretty tasty right towards the end of the race here. Right, the gap down to 3.8 with 5 full laps left to go here in this race. It's getting really close, but I'm going to need a bit of a miracle. I've got no rich mix left. If I had rich mix, I could definitely attack him, so I'm hoping I can save a little bit to maybe gain around lap 52, 53 and really close in on that gap. Here we go then, on to the final lap of the Grand Prix. Just not possible, unfortunately. Hulkenberg, just a little bit too much pace. The gap was as low as 3.4, but just can't do the job, and I'm losing my tyres now, so realistically it's just a battle of trying to stay ahead of Bottas, which I think I should be able to comfortably do this lap. Bottas not particularly close, but one mistake and I'll definitely be letting him pass, so I've got to be careful. But overall, I think that's been a pretty entertaining race, and I think Raikkonen's going to win it any second as I lose the back end there. Just running out of rear tyres, and I've just given Bottas an invitation here to have a look at me on this back straight. Raikkonen wins the race, and he's going to clinch the World Drivers' Championship after obviously going into this race. I said whoever won the race, simple as that, took the championship, and that's exactly what Raikkonen's done, and he's managed to win yet again another World Drivers' Championship here. But we're going to come through the chicane, make sure we make no mistakes here. Important that we get some good traction out of here. Tyres are definitely not as good as they used to be, but we're going to enable some rich mix. Bottas is right there, to be fair. He's pretty close, so he might have a go. He's got the RS wide open. He is gaining on me, but it's not going to be enough, and I should be able to comfortably nurse this one home now that we're in the final sector. So overall, a pretty good race, but overall, a great season overall. I think definitely outperforming this car more than what I really went into with the expectation at the start of the season. The fact I'm going to finish third in the World Drivers' Championship is massive, and also fourth in the Constructors as well. Really good result considering our car is the 6th best car on the grid. But as you can see, just nursing the car now through the final couple of corners here, and make sure we get no more troubles, you know, track extends or anything like that. But here we go for the final corner for the final time after a very long 100% race. We're going to come home in 8th place, and overall that's not too bad. We managed to beat a Mercedes and a Red Bull, so not too shabby, and also beat our teammates. So overall, a great race to cap off a pretty good season. But as you can see, Raikkonen wins the World Drivers' Championship at Abu Dhabi. Raikkonen once again a world champion, and to be fair to Vettel this season, he was much more on the game. You know, he took him down to the wire. It took him down to the last race, but Raikkonen just showed why he's just been the better driver in this career mode compared to his teammate. As you can see, Vettel second, Raikkonen first. It would have been close between the two of them, I'm guessing, on track, but Vettel just couldn't get the job done. I know he had car issues in between the races as well at some point, so the Ferraris are just running flat out in the entirety of that race. But overall, that is going to wrap things up for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And we're now going to move into the final race results, drivers and constructors standings for the final time in Season 5 of Career Mode. Right, so looking at the final race results for the final time this season, it's a Ferrari 1-2 with Raikkonen clinching the World Drivers' Championship ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Lewis Hamilton rounds up the podium with Perez and Ocon in 4th and 5th for both of the Force Indias. Good recovery drives from those guys from 8th and 10th on the grid. Daniel Ricciardo P6 with Nico Hulkenberg in a brilliant P7, and we come home in P8 after starting from the back of the grid on a 2-stop strategy. Also Bottas and Verstappen there round out the points. Massa in the end finishes way down in P13 on a 3-stop strategy, and Pascal Verlaine the only DNF of the race. But in terms of the driver standings, you can see Vettel loses out by 1 point. Raikkonen clinches it only just by the narrowest of margins, and we actually dropped down to P4 in the last race. Ocon manages to beat me by a point, so I thought we would finish third, but instead it's 4th for the World Drivers' Championship. But still a very good season, and we beat both of the Mercedes, and I was driving for them last season, so a very good debut season for the Williams team. And Massa way down in P11 there, and the points gap speaks for itself. But in terms of the constructors, you can see that we do clinch 4th place officially, and Ferrari do officially wrap up the constructors. But we're now going to move into the laptop for the more interesting and exciting part of this episode, in my opinion. Right, so we've been offered a series of contracts, but, you know, after being offered the first driver role in the last race, I'd be stupid to do anything else other than stay as Williams' first driver. So we are going to stay with Williams for another season, and we're going to make things very interesting because I've already got one upgrade on the car. Thanks to being the first driver in this race, our core competency in terms of the R&D points we get has actually gone up. So as you can see on screen, the first driver bonus there, the first line, we've managed to unlock that upgrade, and hopefully we can move on to the next one, which will be 20 races. So by the end of the next season, we should have another bonus. But who knows what will happen after in the next season. Main thing is that we do have a current bonus as a #1 driver, and also working our way towards upgrade speed. So only 3 more classic events to try and improve the upgrade time. But overall, we are starting to get somewhere now with the Williams team. But now, this is when it gets interesting. We've got 5,103 points. So we're going to invest these, and I think I want to do one of each. So first things first, I'm going to go to the engine department, and we need a fuel technology for the engine power. As you can see, this would push us back in front of Mercedes to the second best team and give us that engine power that Williams are known for. So this is going to be one of the upgrades that we make for Australia. Now we've still got 3,900 to spend, so we're going to delve into the aerodynamics, and we're going to purchase this final rear downforce upgrade here, also to get us above Renault. So that one's also going to go on the car for Australia. And then we're going to move into the chassis, and because we're fighting for the tyre next season, realistically tyre wear has to be improved. So we are going to buy a tyre wear upgrade to get that up to scratch. With 1,200 points left to spare, I've got 2 options. I can go for reliability, or I can go for another aero upgrade. And now if I look at these, I'm sort of weighing up my options, and I'm not really also in a position to actually afford them because they're a little bit more expensive. In the chassis, I could actually buy this one here for weight reduction. So I think it's either going to be that one, or it's going to be durability. Now I think, looking at next, I could get 2 of these. So looking at next season, I think I really want to invest in some reliability for this car. So I'm going to go for a turbocharger, and I'm going to go for the ICE, and then hopefully we'll do the other 2, which are control electronics and MGUH, and then also gearbox. So overall, those are all the upgrades on the car. And as you can see in the bottom right, with the upgrade chart, it's going to give us a massive boost in terms of closing the gap to Red Bull. So I'm very much looking forward to the upgrades coming on the car, and hopefully they have a good effect on us, you know, improving where we need to improve, both engine power to get back up to where we should be, in the aero to also improve where we are, and also tyre wear, which is a big issue we had, especially towards the latter end of this season, and also a few reliability bits and bobs after. As you can see, we used 7 power units in this entire season. Some parts weren't that bad, like the MGUK, the energy store, and even the control electronics weren't that bad, but the turbocharger, the MGUH, and the engine, the ICE is definitely the 3 worst parts on the car, and we needed to improve those. Gearbox wise, we could have easily got on with 4 gearboxes for the season, so gearbox is not really a concern. But overall, a good season. If we just sort of like delve in the progress history here, as you can see how that season has gone, it's been a very up and down season, but I think we are going to pretty much be slap bang in the middle between Red Bull and Renault going into next season. And in terms of obviously this season itself, we've had a pretty good year, I think, in my opinion. It's been a pretty successful one. And as you can see, 3 victories on the board, something I did not think we would actually achieve this season. And 4 third places, and then 2 second places. So overall, a very successful season. And if you just tally it up, it's pretty much a 50% podium in every race this season. So overall, the record not too bad. I think that's 9 podiums in 19 races, I think it is, so not too shabby. But either way, that's going to wrap things up, guys, for season 5 of career mode, and I'm very much excited for the start of next season and a much more improved Williams car. But hope you guys are excited too. If you are, then please do slap a like on the video. Also subscribe to the channel if you're new around here for future F1 content coming your way, and also please be sure to check out these videos on screen if you have missed them by chance. And also please do check out GT Omega in the links down below in the description. Use the code TOM97 for a 5% discount on any of your purchases. But other than that, guys, thanks a lot for watching for this entire season, and I'll see you very soon for the start of season 6. Goodbye.